claim he's a.
You don't know what's in his head.
Nazi. It's not my claim. You, the claimer, you bring the evidence. You, the claimer, bring the evidence. Oh, it was trolling? I have no evidence. Believe me, though.
Is in the video where he does a Cenk Uygur
Oh, that's
salute,
the evidence.
and you're saying
didn't do a
Cenk Uygur.
His mind.
Now it's a Cenk Uygur.
You read his mind, and he meant really well by it.
You are the one claiming you read his mind. You're the one claiming you read his mind, and it's a troll, bro. Believe
I'm telling
me.
you what we all saw with our own eyes and ears.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down one of the most ironic debate moments I've ever seen, where someone accuses their opponent of making excuses, then immediately makes an excuse themselves in the same breath. We're diving into the Elon Musk controversy debate between Cenk Uygur, Andrew Wilson, and Piers Morgan. And trust me, the self-contradiction here is absolutely wild. Make sure you watch until the end. Please comment down where you are watching from. It's great to see people from over the world connecting in here. All right, now let's get into the video.
Now, I want to calm the temperature by turning to Nazi salutes. Cenk, you said about Elon Musk. Let's take a look at what he did, just to remind everyone who may not have seen it.
This one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Now, Cenk, you said it was the most obvious Nazi salute you'd ever seen, which I think Hitler might be a bit surprised about, but you don't actually believe
that, did you, Cenk? Oh,
yeah, but Cenk, just to be clear, you don't actually think he's a Nazi, do you? So how can you make a Nazi salute if you're not actually a Nazi and, in fact, absolutely hate everything they stand for? That's not a Nazi salute. It's a awkward thing that he did to say, my heart to you, that then gets deliberately misinterpreted as a Nazi salute by people who keep wanting to call everyone on the right a Nazi.
No. So Elon Musk is trolling. So this is a classic right-wing maneuver. It's to get attention. And he knows that if he does a Nazi salute, but he says, oh, but I touched my heart. And I can't believe they're calling me a Nazi. I'm the victim. The left wing is coming after me just because I did the most obvious Nazi salute of all time. Now, the left is angry at me because I'm not calling him a Nazi. I think he's trolling. I think he's doing it for attention. And he does this plausible deniability. It's the oldest trick in the book coming from the right wing. In fact, when you get upset at the right wing, they usually go, he's just trolling, right? So that's what happened there. That wasn't subtle. And again, I have credibility here because when they accused so many people of doing this, I said no. When Laura Ingraham was at the RNC and she raised her arm and they're like, that's a Nazi salute. I'm not, that's not a Nazi salute. She just raised her arm. Everybody raises their arm. He did that so crisp, so sharp, exactly like the way that they did in the Third Reich. That's not an accident. He's a smart guy. He's doing it to get us to do this segment and for the inauguration to all be about Elon Musk. He's swallowing up all the attention.
I think that is the biggest load of cobblers I've ever heard in my life. But Andrew, over to you.
Yeah, so it is.
Okay.
So
oh my God! No! Don't criticize what is so freaking obvious. And what if he put a Nazi? He put a swastika on his forehead. You guys would be like, no! It does. It's not what it appears. It's not what it appears.
Calm down, Cenk. Calm down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, didn't interrupt you.
Andrea, go ahead.
By the way, it's great to have the old Cenk back, by the way, just for the record.
Yeah, I didn't interrupt you, Snake. Just calm down for a second. Let me respond
very quickly.
Andrea. Okay, so we have tons of evidence that Elon Musk isn't a Nazi. Kanye West, I don't know if you remember this,
I didn't call him a Nazi.
He ran for political office when he released a swastika. It wasn't even a swastika. It's just something that looked like one. Musk banned him for it. Musk just went through and did a massive purge. He just went through and did a massive purge of all sorts of people who were considered Nazis or that the left had been calling Nazis on Twitter. It's a big thing right now. All the evidence points to the fact not only is he not a Nazi, but there's no good incentive for him to even do this. What's the incentive? You say, well, it's a dog whistle. He's trolling. He's just funning this and that. No, this is very common, by the way, for people to make this hand gesture. I have it from AOC. I have it from Clinton. I have it from all of these various people.
In the 1930s.
And the thing is yeah, I have it from all of the Democrats, Cenk. You can draw side-by-side comparisons. People have been showing you them nonstop. You just don't care. You don't care because you want it to be some trolling Nazi thing when it clearly
Then
isn't.
why did
He
I
said, "My
defend
heart
all the other
goes out to all
right-wingers
of you."
Listen, I need to address what just happened in this debate because Cenk's argument here is textbook bad faith argumentation, and I'm going to explain exactly why. He starts by saying Elon's trolling. Okay, fine. But then watch what happens. The entire argument becomes circular. He did it for attention with plausible deniability. You know what that means? It means no matter what Elon says or does, Cenk can just claim, that's part of the troll. That's not an argument. That's an unfalsifiable conspiracy theory. Andrew brings up the most important point that everyone's ignoring. Elon just purged actual problematic accounts from Twitter. He banned Kanye for posting actual hateful imagery. Why would someone who's actively removing that content then turn around and promote it himself? It makes zero logical sense. And here's where Cenk reveals his whole game. Even if he put a swastika on his forehead, you'd find an excuse. No, Cenk, that's you moving the goalposts. Andrew literally just told you Elon banned someone for that exact thing. You're not listening to evidence. You're protecting your narrative. The plausible deniability argument is particularly frustrating because it's a Kafka trap. If Elon says nothing, he's guilty. If he explains himself, that's part of the cover-up. If he apologizes, it confirms something happened. There's no possible response that would satisfy this framework, which means it's not about truth. It's about maintaining an accusation regardless of facts. Here's what really matters. Intent requires evidence. You can't just read someone's mind and declare, I know what you really meant. That's not how rational discourse works. Andrew's pointing to concrete actions, the bans, the purges, the actual policy decisions, while Cenk's offering vibes and speculation. And notice how when Andrew asks, why did I defend other right-wingers then? Cenk can't answer it, because the answer undermines his entire premise. If Andrew defends similar gestures from others but calls this one out, that would prove it was different. But since he's been consistent, it proves this isn't the obvious case Cenk claims.
They raised their arms like that. Then why did I defend all the other right-wingers when they raised their arms like that?
Because
even
the
Nick
same
Fuentes
reason you
today
defend
was like,
left-wingers
that
when they
was the
do.
clearest Nazi salute. And by the way, I literally said, even if he put a swastika on his head,
No,
you
he
guys
didn't
would find
say
an
that.
excuse for it. And then,
He didn't
hold
say
on,
that.
and then you said about Kanye, when he put a swastika on his head, it wasn't really a Nazi symbol. I mean, you proved my point over and over again. So it's a delight debating
I didn't say it wasn't a Nazi symbol.
and
I
even
said
Nick-
a swastika. I said it wasn't an actual swastika, but it looked enough like one. That he banned
okay,
it.
so
I didn't say
there you
anything
go
about
again. I mean, it's
not
a swastika, but not
Nazi
really,
symbol.
because, okay. So, look, even
Yeah,
Nick
symbols
Fuentes,
actually
an
look
avowed
like actual
neo-Nazi
symbols because they're
today,
actual
said
symbols.
It's an absolute Nazi salute. Yeah, so look, guys.
No, he didn't
you
say
guys
that.
are
You just made it
fighting
up.
against a ghost.
I mean,
Fuentes did say that.
Cenk,
He
as he did
didn't
it,
make a Nazi
as he did
didn't
it,
make a
Cenk, he
Nazi
literally
salute.
says, from my heart to you, or whatever the words were, right?
Yeah.
He literally tells
Touches
you
his
what he's
heart.
doing.
Yeah, that's
from
the
my heart
plausible
to you.
deniability. Of course.
Nobody,
Of course. Do you
nobody
think, Piers,
actually believes.
Piers,
Hang on, Cenk.
Piers,
No, Cenk, hang on.
you're a
Cenk,
sophisticated
nobody
media
actually,
person.
including
Do you
by the
really
way,
think he would have said, "This is for the Third Reich"? No, of course he's going to have
He
plausible
would if he was a
deniability
Nazi.
and make up an excuse. You
Yeah.
know that.
If he was a Nazi, he'd say, Heil Hitler, this is for you, the Third Reich, my love to you.
Yeah.
Yes, because he would be an actual Nazi.
you.
Instead,
Well,
he's a
first
guy
of
who
all,
literally
Piers,
a few
you're
months
fighting a
ago
ghost.
went to Jerusalem. He went to Jerusalem. He
Yeah,
went to the,
but again,
and then he went down to the,
but
he went
Piers,
down to
two
the
things.
kibbutz,
Number
which
one,
was
you're fighting a
annihilated
ghost.
on
I
October
didn't
the
say he was a
7th.
Nazi.
He literally went
I
to
didn't
the
say he was a
scene
Nazi.
of the
You
massacre
keep going back to
of
he's
Jewish
not a Nazi.
people on
It's
I'm
October
saying
the
he's doing
7th.
it for
It's inferred.
attention, and you know that, Piers. As a guy who loves attention,
It's not true.
you know he's doing
I
it for
don't.
the attention.
I don't
so
know that,
stop making
'cause
an
it
argument,
didn't happen.
debating an argument that I didn't even make.
There is absolutely no way in the world Elon Musk deliberately did that to get attention as a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah.
The whole idea of that is fanciful, delusional and deliberately,
not as a Nazi
deliberately
sympathizer,
manipulative
Piers,
nonsense.
as a person who goes, me, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's trolling. Do you not understand the concept of trolling?
I do.
So you
I'm
do
very good at it
outrageous
myself.
things with plausible deniability so that you could then come and go, oh my God, I got all the attention, plus I'm the victim because they're misinterpreting me.
Yeah, because when you're
It's
selling,
Trump's
okay,
oldest
great
trick.
argument,
You
Cenk.
learn
So
that
here's-
trick and you
here's
use
Cenk's
that trick.
argument.
So
Just to be
you're
clear,
having
hang
a
on.
nonsense debate about
Cenk,
whether he's a Nazi.
just to be clear,
I'm telling you that he did it for attention.
I hear you, but just to be clear, you really think that what he thought would be a good move as he's celebrating Donald Trump's historic second presidency starting, that what Donald Trump would want on the front pages the next day was not a picture of him as the new president, but a picture of Elon Musk doing what you say was a Nazi salute. You think he literally gamed that deliberately to troll people. What part of your brain
So,
thinks
Piers, let
that
me
is
ask you a
even
question
feasible
back.
from a guy who literally lands space rockets in cradles? He's got one of the biggest brains in the world. He was not deliberately trolling people as if he's a Nazi. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, Piers, let me ask you a question.
Okay, this section is where the debate completely falls apart for Cenk's side, and I need you to see why. Piers asked the killer question. You really think Elon planned to make Trump's inauguration about himself with a controversy? And listen to how Cenk responds. He doubles down. Yes, because he loves attention. But hold on, let's apply basic logic here. Elon Musk is one of the richest, most influential people on Earth. He runs multiple companies. He already gets unlimited attention. The idea that he would deliberately create a negative news cycle that overshadows his political allies' biggest moment? For what? More attention he doesn't need? That's not strategy. That's cartoon villain behavior. Andrew's trying to bring this back to evidence-based reasoning. He's saying, look at the pattern of behavior, look at the actual policies, look at what this person has done, not just one ambiguous gesture. And Cenk keeps retreating to, but it looked like it, so intentions don't matter. Here's the thing about the "it looked like it" argument. Humans make awkward gestures all the time. Piers even admits it was ill-advised, meaning, yeah, it was clumsy optics. But there's a massive difference between this was poor judgment and body language, and this was a deliberate signal to hate groups. The Jerusalem trip Andrew mentions, that's significant. You don't visit Holocaust memorial sites and then come home to secretly signal support for the ideology that caused the Holocaust. That's not how human psychology works. People are generally consistent in their values, especially on something this fundamental. And watch Cenk's response when pressed. He's doing it for attention. You know that, Piers. You love attention too. He's now making it about Piers instead of defending his argument. That's deflection 101. When you can't support your claim with evidence, attack the character of the person questioning you. The most telling moment is when Andrew says, "You're the claimer, bring the evidence," and Cenk points to the gesture itself as the evidence. But that's circular. The gesture is what's being disputed. You can't use the disputed thing as evidence for itself. You need external corroborating evidence, like past statements, affiliations, patterns of behavior. And all of that points away from Cenk's interpretation.
Back. If you were giving a speech in the inauguration or in the parliament or anywhere, and somebody told you, hey, go say from my heart and do this exact thing where you even almost snap your boots. You know, he just snapped that salute, right?
He won't
would
do
you
it
do
again.
Would you really do it? And I want you to do it right now
I told him,
if you say you would do it.
I told him, I didn't tell him, but I tweeted, and 10 million people have viewed my post on X, so he'll have seen it. I just said it was very ill-advised of him to do that move. Absolutely.
There you go. So
very
you think it
ill-advised,
did look like a Nazi
but
salute.
anyone who genuinely believes he was doing it to replicate a Nazi salute is talking complete bullshit. Andrew.
Yeah, and to just respond
No,
very
but
briefly.
Piers-
I want to bring
Hang
Andrew
on,
in now.
hang
Let
on,
me bring
hang on.
Andrew in. Andrew,
If it didn't
Calm
look
down,
like a
Cenk,
Nazi
calm-
salute,
Cenk,
why was it
Cenk, calm
ill-advised?
Andrew.
If it didn't look
Calm
like
down.
a Nazi salute, why was it ill-advised?
Andrew, he was ill-advised to do it, and I'm sure he'll now realize that. It was an ill-advised act.
Okay, good.
So here's the thing too. This is something that's off the cuff. Cenk's entire argument here is it's trolling. Believe me, That's it.
Yeah.
No evidence, no anything.
None.
All evidence to the contrary.
You don't have evidence
doesn't even claim he's a.
You don't know
doesn't
what's
even
in
claim
his
he's a
head.
Nazi. It's not my claim. You, the claimer, you bring the evidence. You, the claimer, bring the evidence. Oh, it was trolling? I have no evidence.
The
Believe
evidence
me, though.
is in the
Great
video
argument.
where he does a Sieg Heil
Oh, that's the
salute,
evidence.
and you're saying
didn't
no,
do a
it's
Sieg
not
Heil.
magically his mind.
Now it's a Sieg Heil.
You read his
Oh.
mind, and he meant really
No,
well by
no,
it.
you are
You're
the one
one
claiming you
that
read
has
his mind. You're the one claiming you read his mind, and it's a troll, bro.
I'm
Believe
telling
me.
you what we all saw with our own eyes and ears. In fact, Piers admits that it looks like a Nazi salute. Piers is on my side on that.
No,
You're
I
saying
said it was
even
an
though it looks like a
ill-advised-
Nazi salute,
No,
I
no.
read his mind,
Let me be
and he
clear.
meant nothing but warm.
That's what you're saying.
It was an
Fire, they're
ill-advised.
rainbows.
It was an ill-advised
No evidence.
movement of his arm because obviously the kickback has shown that. However,
Yeah. Great argument, by the way.
He did
Believe
not
me,
say,
bro.
as you're
Believe me,
saying,
bro.
as you're saying, Cenk, he did not say Sieg Heil because that would have made him a Nazi saluting Adolf Hitler. He said, "From my heart to you," rather less. I would say contentious than Sieg
He
Heil,
snapped his
which is
boots,
what you
brother.
want people to think he was
snapped
doing.
that salute.
All
Okay,
right,
Piers,
let's
let me
change
ask you
subject.
one more question.
Let's change subject.
If Elon thought, oh my God, that's so ill-advised, I feel so bad about that. If somebody was saying that I did something Nazi, I said, oh my God, I feel bad about that if it was ill-advised. Why wouldn't he just say, oh, of course I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry
you know what?
if people
Here's
perceive
the
it that
proof.
way.
Check.
But he
didn't
never
do anything
does
wrong.
that.
Check.
This final section exposes the entire problem with modern discourse, and I'm getting genuinely frustrated watching it. Piers makes a critical distinction. Elon said, "From my heart to you," not Sieg Heil, or anything remotely related to that ideology. And Cenk's response? Of course he wouldn't say it. So now we're in a world where not saying something bad is proof that you meant something bad? Do you see how insane that standard is? This is called mind reading, and it's the death of good faith debate. You cannot build a case on, I know what he really meant despite what he said and did. That's not evidence. That's projection. You're inserting your interpretation into someone else's head and then treating it as fact. Andrew's getting frustrated here. And honestly, I get it. He's bringing receipts. The Kanye ban, the account purges, the policy changes, and it's being dismissed with, yeah, but the vibe was wrong. Since when do vibes override documented actions? The apology question is actually brilliant from Cenk strategically, but terrible logically. If it was ill-advised, why didn't he apologize? Because, as Piers correctly notes, apologizing for something you didn't do validates the false accusation. If someone accuses you of something ridiculous and you immediately apologize, you've just admitted guilt for something that didn't happen. This is the trap so many public figures fall into. They apologize for optics, or how it was received, trying to be diplomatic, and then that apology gets weaponized as admission of intentional wrongdoing. Andrew and Piers understand this. You don't apologize your way out of bad faith accusations because the accusers aren't operating in good faith. The final line from Piers is perfect. If he does it again, then he's trolling. That's the rational standard. One awkward moment in a high-energy speech, that's human error. A pattern of behavior, that's when you have a case. But you don't get to destroy someone's reputation over a single ambiguous gesture when everything else in their track record contradicts your interpretation. What frustrates me most is that this kind of discourse makes it harder to identify actual problems when they exist. When you call everything the worst possible thing, people stop listening. Andrew's defending basic standards of evidence, and somehow that's controversial now? We've lost the plot, folks. So what do you think of this? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.